You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
They're searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They're gonna find it.
You can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you.
Ooh.
Find your next ride at autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like expecting the leadership of a team captain on the football field, but getting a sea captain. You wouldn't settle for just anything for your team. Shouldn't it be the same for your insurance? So don't settle for just any insurance when you can go with a leader. State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Navigate the gauntlet of uncertainty the world throws at your business with SAP. Whether it's a tropical storm hitting your warehouse or a short supply of those little plastic twist ties, SAP can help you tackle those unexpected crushing setbacks with its AI-powered capabilities. To pivot to new suppliers, automate paperwork, and source the twist ties you need at the price you want, so your business can stay unstoppable. Learn more at sap.com/uncertainty.
Shout out to the Cubs, too. Chicago ain't had a playoff team since when?
Do we count the play-in? What was the last year the Cubs went? 2022?
2020.
You sure they didn't go in 21?
I know they didn't. They broke the team up in 21.
Right. Okay. Well, the Sky in 2022?
Yeah, because the Sky won the championship in 20.
He won it recent.
Yeah. Didn't the Bulls, they played the Bucks in 22, didn't they? 21. Okay.
Yeah, 20. It might have been the 20. It might have been the 21-22 season.
So the Chicago Sky won the championship in 2021, the fall of 2021. The Bulls, they left the playoffs in 5 games, and that was 2022. Bulls being 23, 24, and now 25 for a playoff team in the city.
Yeah, spring 2022 is when the Bulls were in the playoffs. So, yeah, the last playoff team, I guess, was the Bulls.
Shout out to the Cubs, putting the city on their back. What would the city be without the Cubs?
A pretty depressed, frustrated Chicago sports scene. Bunch of frustrated Chicago sports fans.
Yeah, I mean, one is birthed every day, right? That's why we're here. We're here to do the work for the Chicago fan that is does not know the 90s, does not know the 80s, barely remembers the early 2010s for the Blackhawks.
And shout out to the Chicago sports fans who have endured the losing and ain't left, that have stood 10 toes down and they still here. Shout out to you, because eventually when this turns, all that enjoyment and anticipation waiting for the titles is going to hit 10 times harder than if you just followed LeBron everywhere, or you decided to be a Chiefs fan in the last couple of years, or now you Eagles fan. I get so tired hearing Chicago. I always rooted for the Eagles. Oh, yeah. Oh, I always liked the Chiefs. I liked the Chiefs way back when Warren Moon was the quarterback. That don't count. Stop that. Liking a certain player 20 years ago, no, we not honoring nobody that claims that, oh yeah, I always like that, so I'm a fan. No, you with us or you not.
Yeah, so the Bulls was the last playoff team in the city, but unlike the Bulls, the Cubs will actually do some shit while they there. No disrespect to your Bulls, but
that's a sneaky team, that Cubs team. I mean, that rotation in the playoffs, you're going to have to go through Boyd. You're going to have to go through Cade Horton. Cade Horton is pitching like a grown man, all right?
He looked like Arietta back in 15.
He looking like Arietta. You got to go through Shoto. Them three guys, they're going to be tough on anybody. So I like the Cubs' chances of coming out that NL.
Yeah, if the bats show back up, it remains to be seen if Tucker is going to be available. But I'm certain the Cubs will catch at least one hat. They're going to catch at least one hat. San Diego getting packed up.
Pack the Padres up.
Pack them up. Ron Burgundy and the Channel 4 news team, they're going to be salty. Let me tell you, stay classy, San Diego. Yeah, because you gonna catch it. You gonna catch that one. You flying the L. Yeah, it's gonna be a Wrigley. You getting smoked. Even though the playoffs are gonna start for baseball, it is football season. It's the number one moneymaker in Chicago. And before we get to the game at hand, let me check your temperature on some of these in-house things. After the last game, we ain't gotta talk about what happened. We all remember. We gonna exit out of our brain. We gonna put it in that box with our mama's titties, and we're not talking about it ever again. After that game, though, Ben Johnson intimated at his press conference that some players, some of their playing time might be up for grabs. He said there's going to be a competition in practice this week. I don't know if you've heard about how any of those practices went down. I know Wednesday they had a really tough practice, like how they had back in camp, physical tough practice for like 2.5 hours. But I'm going to ask you this. Is it too early in the season for any of this type of, your playing time's up for grabs, or is it too late? Like this should have been happening during camp.
I don't think it's too early. I don't think it's too late. I think training camp was good and competitive. As far as too early, you only got 17 games. You in an 0-2 start. And it's the way you started 0-2. You just completely collapsed in the fourth quarter of the Vikings game. You did not close them out. It hurts worse because J.J. McCarthy looked like he just started playing quarterback the next week, in which he pretty much has. He didn't throw a lot at Michigan, and he missed his rookie year. And, he was coming into his first ever start against the Bears. Then in the Lions game, you might have been competitive for the first quarter, but you allowed the Lions to get whatever they want. They marched down the field with ease. I can't remember too many times the Bears defense forced them to punt, and we didn't force a turnover out of them. So when you start off 0-2 and the I don't want to say the effort wasn't there, the execution certainly wasn't there. You false starting, you missing assignments. So effort or not, the execution ain't there. Let the next man go, because if you're not producing, then it's time to see somebody else.
Well, who else? I guess that's my grander point. Who else? I don't think the depth is a strength for the Bears, obviously, because, we don't trust Ryan Poles to do what he's supposed to do.
A strength either, so.
Yeah, obviously not. Obviously not. But at this point, based on some of the things we saw, some of the communication, some of the effort, a worse player might be a better player at this point, because maybe they're more attentive. They're not going to be the ones that's going to be out there getting those flags and do those silly things that's putting the team back. Maybe they're not as good. Maybe there's a Chris Conte out there that could save the Bears.
I hate that name, Chris Conte. Please don't get my blood pressure. I am triggered, and I have PTSD from Chris Conte getting ran over. What was that? Fred Jackson that stiff-armed him into hell for the Bills. I think his career even ended with a stiff arm with the Buccaneers. Didn't one of the Steelers tight ends stiff arm him and he got hurt and didn't get back up and just retired?
I think it was a stiff arm that ended his career. Put his career in the dirt. Shout out to Charlie Kirk.
Tua Tagovailoa.
The way you feel about Chris Conte is the way I feel about Jay Cutler. I ain't thought about Jay Cutler forever. But I was watching the WNBA sidebar, and we didn't already sidebar enough, but sidebar one more time. I was watching the WNBA playoffs, elimination game between the New York Liberty and the Phoenix Mercury last night. Brianna Stewart, one of the GOATs of the WNBA, she sprained her MCL in game one. Barely played in game two. He got blew out. So, she didn't really have an effect in that game. She braced up and went out there and balled in game three. I think he had like damn near 30 points. Damn near 30 points on a sprained MCL. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This is exactly why that dude, don't say his name, this is exactly why that dude is not the greatest quarterback in Chicago Bears history. This is exactly why women are stronger than men too. She did that in an elimination game. He rode a bike in an elimination game.
Please don't make Cutler the example for all men.
You're right. He's not the example. Because if he is, I'm something else. I'm transitioning if he is.
As far as I'm concerned, until otherwise proven, I got Sid Luckman, I got Jim McMahon as the best quarterbacks in Chicago Bear history. Until Caleb ascends to the throne.
I got Eric Kramer and Kyle Orton. Sad. That's
Eric
sad
Kramer,
shit.
the single season yardage record holder, and I believe the single season touchdown holder. Although I do feel like that yardage, Caleb, he plays 17. Hell, he plays 15. I think he'll get that one. I think that's going to be his.
He almost did a rookie season, so I don't think that's going to be a difficult task for him to achieve. But so let's button up this part real quick. I feel like Ben was well aware of some of the issues that still permeate from this team out of the first 2 weeks. Lack of discipline, lack of focus. These are things we talked about on this very show. And those are things you can control, all of those things. Your focus, your effort, your discipline. Whether or not you're as skilled as the next man is, sometimes that's out of your control. If he's trying to do that now, I wonder why he didn't do it sooner. Because he was well aware of it beforehand. We talked about it with Darnell Wright. Remember when they were saying Darnell Wright job might be available at the end of camp, right? Like when we question like why wait this long? We all know who Darnell Wright is. We all know that he's got the talent, he's got the skill. He just don't have it up here. He don't have a focus. He don't put 2 and 2 together. Where he don't make preparation meet skill and create a great opportunity to be great. He ain't did that yet. I don't know if he's ever going to do it. In the media, it's been hypothesized that DJ Moore might be one of those guys. We remember how Ben Johnson, his 10-year start, he was talking about body language and controlling some of that stuff. DJ Moore's up to his shenanigans again. Bad body language, quick known plays that don't go his way. It'll be interesting to see in this game that we're going to talk about soon whose snaps are reduced, who's not out there in the first draft. I'm just waiting to see because then it's not that I'm blaming the players at this point because they are who they are. I know who they are. I'm asking the question is, Ben, why did you let that extend into the season? Because you knew who they were as well.
I think with Ben, it's a situation where he has to impose his will on the current roster because there wasn't enough time to make sweeping roster changes and overhaul in one off season. And also I think Ben, yes, I'm defending Ben right now. I think Ben has to give these players who are under, contracts that Poles is giving out, he has to give them a chance to prove and to get a chance. I think everybody deserves a chance to redeem themselves and redemption. The last coaching administration was so inconsistent and poor. I think a lot of these guys who are here deserve to be evaluated under a professional coaching staff. The last coaching staff, you saw the running backs coach had to be dismissed. The defensive coordinators had to be dismissed for things that weren't even on the field, even though they weren't good on the field. But so I definitely think a lot of these guys deserve another chance. As far as DJ Moore, you have to wonder, you've played on losing organizations your entire career. DJ Moore hasn't been on a team with a winning record in his career. And this is year number 8, I believe. Year number 7, year number 8. So you wonder if these habits have now made an impact and they are who he is. He's used to the losing. So that's how he, that's all he knows. And losing players definitely have losing habits. You look at the Bears in the last few years, they find a way to lose the close games. They find a way to not close out the close games. The margin between good teams and bad teams isn't a huge gap like it is in NCAA. You know what I'm saying? You see Saturdays, there's teams that get beat. Even in the top 25, you get a team in the 20s playing a top 8 team, and they're getting the doors blown off them. They're losing by 20, 25, 30 points. The gap between best team in the league and worst team in the league, especially early in the season, is pretty narrow. I mean, the Bears certainly did not let that gap look narrow last weekend. But generally speaking, teams, you look at the spreads are usually, even the highest spreads are usually 11 through 14, somewhere around there. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but some of these guys might not be able to be saved. Ben, don't save them. They don't want to be saved.
That's law, Q. Don't save her, but she do not want to be saved. All right. The other thing that we got to talk about leading up to this game, the Bears made a decision on Jalen Johnson. They have placed him on IR, eligible to return week 8. His season is not over. Week 8.
Man, I think that's being very, very hopeful.
I don't think this helps anybody. I don't think there's a real pathway to fixing this because he needs surgery.
Yeah.
And if you need surgery, go ahead and take care of it now.
See you in 26.
Chalk the season up as an L. See you next year. I don't know what they hope to gain out of kicking this can down the road into week 8, into week 7 or whatever. You might as well just go open up that roster spot now. The sooner the better. Let's get Stephon Gilmore in here. Let's get Asante Samuel Jr. in here. Whoever else is on the street. Figure something out. But what's the point?
Yeah. There's definitely some notable corners on the market. And I don't know, the way the groin was described in the surgery, I just don't see. What is week 8 now? 5 weeks from week 8? This is week 3? Man, I can't see him going under the knife and that healing and being ready to compete at a pro level. I think at some point you become a danger to the player. Now, maybe if they were talking about week 15, week 16, maybe they're hoping to still be competitive late in the season. But no, week 8, that's I don't see it.
He ain't the only player the Bears put on IR this week. Can you guess who the other player is?
TJ?
Nope.
Kyler?
One more guess.
Roshan?
Kyron Amagaji.
What is the point? What is the point? I forgot about him. I mean, he's been an afterthought since a 3rd-round pick was wasted on him. Do you know at the 3rd round, when he was drafted, in the 3rd round when he was drafted, a guy like Bucky Irvin was still available?
I thought he was in the 4th round when we drafted Torrey Taylor.
Yes. Well, you drafted Kyron and Torrey Taylor ahead of Bucky Irvin.
We drafted the Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafting football players, and we're drafting future insurance salesmen.
Yes, that's about it.
Let's use this as a segue to talk about the injury report for this game. T.J. Edwards, as I already said, Kyron Amagaji, as we already know, Jalen Johnson, Jalen Jones, and Kyler Gordon all out for this week. We didn't expect them anyway. DeMarco Jackson, questionable. DeAndre Swift, questionable. Grady Jarrett, he was a full participant on Friday after being limited the first 2 days with his knee injury. And Ja'Day Walker, he is trending towards playing, as he was also a full participant Thursday and Friday. For the Dallas Cowboys, Deron Bland, he is out. Trayvon Diggs, Trayvon Diggs, Tyler Guyton, and Kejante Turbin are the only other 3 guys on the injury report. All 3 of those guys, they were full participants on Friday. So they are probably going to play. Any thoughts on those injuries, Q?
Bland is out. Rome and DJ, you got to go. You have to go, and you got to kick some ass. Deron Bland, solid starting corner. He's not a guy that's not beatable. The Cowboys gave up 400-plus passing yards to Russell, and Malik Neighbors had himself a day, but Wan'Dale Robinson was very effective. DJ and Rome, this is your time to shine. You know, you got a Cowboys secondary that wasn't very good last week, and now they're down some key guys. This is the week you got to put up and shut up.
Let's kick off this preview right now. speaking about the Dallas Cowboys, over the summer, we did all this talking about who's the face of the league for the NBA, right? Going back and forth between, is it Joker, is it LeBron, is it Ant-Man, is it Jason Tatum, whomever. Well, let's talk about who's the face of the league of the NFL. And I want to ask you this: is it someone other than Jerry Jones?
Jerry Jones is the face of the NFL. If the circus was in town, he is he is a clown. If you're talking face, are we talking about just front office people and non-players, or both players and front office people?
See, that's the key. The NBA is a players league. It is a star league. NFL is not so much. NFL is team, and it's an owners league. And Jerry, the most powerful owner, he's pretty much spearheaded the NFL from. I want maybe when you remember back, early '90s when he took over Dallas Cowboys, late '80s. NFL wasn't it was barely a top 3 league. You had boxing, you had baseball, all in front of the NFL by a wide margin. Now the NFL is here, and there's no one close to them being second. And he drove all of that. We see Dallas Cowboys front and center on all the sports shows, always talking about 24/7, all because of Jerry. What's Jerry up to? That's why I say he's the face of the league. I don't care about what Pat Mahomes got going on. Don't care.
When you say face of the league, I don't just look at it as most recognizable. I look at it as in terms of popularity and likability. I don't think Jerry's likable enough for me to say face of the league. If I were to say a face of the league right now, that face would be, man, I think it still has to be Pat Mahomes. It has to be Pat Mahomes, or it has to be the multiple-time MVP Lamar Jackson. Those are the faces. Lamar needs rings, though. He needs rings to cement that. So at the end of the day, I'm going to go Pat is still the face of the NFL. And this might sound crazy, but because he's not an elite player anymore, but Travis Kelce is hanging around there as face, obviously for non-football reasons. But I'm going to go Pat. I'm going to go Pat as the face of the league right now.
Did you forget Jerry got 3 rings?
Jerry got 3 rings, 3 ancient rings. All of those rings can go to the bar and drink now, except for the last one. All of them could go to the bar and drink.
No, the last one's 29 years old.
Damn it, the 90s is that long ago? Oh my God, I'm getting old.
It was 90s, 96.
Wait, 96?
Almost 30 years ago. Yeah.
Thanks for making me feel old. The 90s.
You're welcome.
The 90s are. Damn, 90s babies are really 30 somethings. All of his rings can drink. All of his.
Yeah.
They all got OnlyFans pages.
All right, so moving up to this game, obviously, I think where we compare to the Cowboys is easily the defenses. Their defense shitty. Our defense shitty. They made Russ look like he was prime Russ still, like pre-Sierra Russ, and we gave up 52 points to the Lions.
I don't even remember prime Russ throwing for 100. Man, they made him look like a Brady or something.
Prime Russ, he definitely had some 400 games. Q, come on now, Prime Russ, he's always had that moon ball. He used to he'll drop a nuke on you.
I know that. I know he dropped that on you. I remember a lot of 300s. I don't remember ever having a 400. Look that up real quick, because I think he set his career high against Dallas. I ain't taking nothing away from Russ. I used to be that Seattle Legion of Boom. That I love that Seahawks team. I loved Russ on that Seahawks team.
I did too. And shout out to you for bringing it back here. There's a way you can like 2 teams, but you can only be a fan of one. You can only be a fan of one. I'm a Bears fan.
I like that. You can like other teams. You can only be a fan, because I've always liked the Giants.
So Russell, he has 4 career games throwing for 400 or plus yards. Last week was his 2nd highest passing yard game at 450.
Damn, I slept on Russ. Hall of Fame? You put him in the Hall of Fame?
Sure. Here's my thing with Hall of Fame as far as football players. You got the first 6 years of your career to build your case. Everything after that, either furthers you in one direction or the other direction. I think Russ wasn't solid the first 6 years as a Hall of Famer, and since then, um, he hasn't done anything to change anybody's mind. I think he's definitely in the conversation, but at this point in your career, you can't be in the conversation. He has a career that could be debated, but there's nothing you can do right now that can. Well, there is something you can do with that. If he led a team to a ring, then that will put him over. But
At this point, it's
after the
not
first,
happening.
yeah,
And I
it's
just
definitely
realized
not
Joe
happening.
Theismann isn't in the Hall of Fame, so I don't think if they let Joe Theismann in, who I know you can't really compare numbers of 70s, 80s quarterbacks, but Joe Theismann is very much Russell Wilson. And I think Joe Theismann, does he have an MVP? And he's not in there. Or I think he led the NFL in passing a couple times. But either he has a Super Bowl MVP or outright MVP, and he's not in there. So I agree with you. I don't see them putting him in. And he's an All Pro too. He's an All Pro, got an MVP and an NFL Offensive Player of the Year award, and he's a Super Bowl champion. If that guy ain't in there, then I don't think Russ gets in there.
That's a little bit before us, but Sean Alexander, MVP, not in the Hall of Fame.
And I don't think there's a push for Sean Alexander to get in there.
Because other than that, again, 2-3 year period, he was okay. To be a Hall of Fame, you should be top 10 or so of your era. And Russ, he had a good 3-4 seasons. Then he got with Sierra. Not saying this has anything to do with Sierra, but
please don't start the Red Pill Bros. Please don't get the Red Pill Bros started. I welcome all engagement. I welcome all fans, but don't get the Red Pill Bros started. Please don't get us pigeonholed as a Red Pill Bro podcast.
They had talked about this on It Is What It Is, Cam and Mace. Cam had brought it up has he been good since he got with Sierra? I'm just like, because they started dating 10 years ago, about 2015. That was that last Super Bowl. What happened after that last Super Bowl?
I think Russ had a couple decent years after that. I think 2018 was was it 2018 or 2019? Might have been 2018. Russ had a decent team because the Seahawks were still making the playoffs until recently with Russ.
He was good, just not Hall of Fame. Because, the Hall of Fame stuff just wasn't happening after 2015. More 12-win season after 2015. Decent years. He had a couple of 4,000-yard seasons. 1 year he led the league in touchdowns. And 1 year he had a 40-yarder. But, it's a lot more mid and below average seasons sprinkled in all over that. So I would put it in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm Bronco here. That cemented him not going to the Hall of Fame. You said everything you do after the first 6 years either cement you or help you go or help you don't. The Broncos years definitely are the years that are going to keep him out of the Hall of Fame. Especially since the year you left, they went straight to the playoffs with a rookie quarterback.
All right, so the defenses. That's the guy we're talking about that put up 450 yards on the Cowboys defense. They don't have Deron Bland. They don't have Micah Parsons anymore. They have 3 sacks on the season, Q. Just speaking about the Cowboys defense right now, what can the Bears do to make sure that defense does not get off the mat?
I know I sound like a broken record, but the first thing the Bears offense can do is not beat themselves. The penalties. I don't have much hair, but I'm going to pull what remains of my hair out if I see Darnell Wright, Jonah Jackson false start again. Just don't beat yourself. The Cowboys are not a very good team. Don't do anything to keep them in the game. Let's not do any holding. DeAndre Swift, let's hold on to the football. Caleb, if you're getting out the pocket and you don't see anything, make sure you throw it away, not in a harm's way. I like to say that as long as the Bears offense doesn't hurt themselves, the Cowboys defense will get undisciplined and they'll allow you a big play. Just don't turn the ball over. Don't put yourself in a second and long and first and longs that lead to the third and long. So you don't want the Cowboys coming in here getting any type of confidence. I know they already won a game, but you know, with going to overtime and giving up 400 plus yards to Russell, that's not a win that you feel good about. Um, just don't beat yourselves.
Yeah, no more. We don't need any more flags. That's definitely a silent killer for this team. Coastal Loveland, he's played 54% of the snaps this season so far.
54% of the snaps in one
Luther
game.
Burden, 22%.
Luther Burden's played 22%.
22% of the snaps.
That is crazy that they've been on the field this much.
Do you think their snap counts go up this game as a way to get that offense like moving in another direction? Get it, especially against this type of vulnerable defense.
Well, reading between the lines of what Ben Johnson said, yeah, I absolutely think guys that had good training camps or had very high expectations, I do think their snaps go up. So I do think you'll see Luther Burden not just on the field more, but featured. Maybe plays drawn up for Luther Burden. Certainly plays drawn up for Colston Loveland. I can't imagine, and God help me because I want to strangle Ryan Poles. I can't imagine you drafted a guy at number 10 and not featuring him in a certain way. You don't have enough resources to take a guy top 10 and not use him. That is beyond me. We hear all this about Loveland, and to see him just ignored in the offense, that's inexcusable. That makes no sense. That is a terrible allocation of resources. So reading between the lines and looking at the performance the last 2 weeks, I absolutely expect guys like Bird and Colston Loveland. I expect their snaps to go up. I also expect to see some guys on defense either lose snaps or other guys get opportunities, guys that are healthy. Well, we don't have Booker or Shamar Turner yet, but maybe a guy like Dominique Robinson gets more snaps. Sweat and Dio haven't been too productive. Maybe he gets in a rotation. Maybe a Daniel Hardy gets in a rotation. Maybe we see Ruben Hippolyte on some in base package if Tremaine Edmonds doesn't think that he should tackle a running back at or behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of guys losing snaps and a lot of guys making appearances that we heard about throughout training camp.
Should Braxton Jones, who has played 91% of the snaps, should he be losing some of his snaps?
I think I saw a stat that said 41% of the Bears' pressures have been from Braxton Jones.
He saw the same stat. He's responsible for 41% of all pressures that the Bears have received this season.
That's alarming and a huge red flag. I mean, he's been highly unproductive. What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? Because he had to fight to get that job through training camp. So that means somebody was near him. Is the guy behind him that far behind him that we can't put him on the field? Where is Trapillo? Where is Theo Benedict? We heard the rise of Benedict, and we haven't seen him rise since. The last time I seen Theo Benedict was in his underwear. And that's not what I want the football player known for. I want to be besides preseason. You all talked him up. Time to put him in there.
So Dallas only has 3 sacks on the season, and they got them all 3 last week. They did not sack Jalen Hurts at all week 1, and we all know who Dallas's defensive coordinator is, Flus. If one thing is we know about Flus, he don't blitz. Braxton, Darnell, Jonah Jackson, I think they struggled with the zone blitz in the first 2 weeks. Flus don't do that. He likes to get pressure out of his 4. On a scale of 1 to 5, on a scale of 1 to 5, how confident would you be that Braxton could have his best game this season, this week?
He better. You're not going against Van Ginkel and Greenard and even a young Dallas Turner. You're not going to see Aiden Hutchinson. And you're not going to see Micah Parsons because he's no longer in Dallas. Yeah, Braxton, you better. You better. There's no reason for me to see you anymore this year because you're a free agent at the end of the year. Either shit or get off the pot. Do one of the two. At this point, if Braxton isn't going to produce, Ben, you said you're about accountability. Poles, you drafted these guys. What more reason do we need to see Braxton Jones out there? He's not your future. He's not playing well. I would rather get my growing pains out with Topillo or Benedict. Not just the growing pains. I'd rather see if they can do the job as we head into 2026 free agency draft than continue to let Braxton Jones clown around a left tackle. This is a pointless. This has become a pointless exercise. We know Braxton is the future of left tackle. At this point, he would have got a contract extension. So if he can't produce, get the next guys in there. At least we know if they can play or not. The time for BS, the time for game playing is over with. Let me see what Trapillo and Bennett have to offer, so I can get on with my 2026 plans. This is how Ryan Poles has to start thinking. Maybe the call should come from him. Let me see what these guys can do, so I can evaluate what I need for next year.
Yeah, but I don't want any more calls coming from Ryan Poles. In fact, I want him to just have a no-show job. Shout out to Kawhi Leonard, living the life that everything all of us want to live, getting paid to do nothing.
Listen.
Getting paid to do nothing at two jobs, to be honest with you.
If we go 0-3, I want Ryan Poles shot. If we go 0-3, I'm definitely making a Ryan Poles burner account, and I'm dissing Charlie Kirk. Matter of fact, hey, conservatives, y'all got Jimmy Kimmel up out of there. Ryan Poles in his office right now making mean tweets about your boy Charlie.
So it sounds like you're at a 4 for Braxton Jones having his best game this season.
As a scientist, I can tell you that Sundays are only 24 hours long. But with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get every game every Sunday all in one place. That's upwards of 30 hours of NFL in one day. How can there be 30 hours in 24 hours, you ask? I have a theory. Magic. New users get NFL Sunday Ticket for 8 payments of $34.50 per month. Sign up at NFLSundayTicket.com. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games and commercial use. Terms and embargoes apply. Availability varies.
Hello, Nigel here. I couldn't help noticing that you're still awake. Now, I'm an owl. I'm supposed to be up at night. But you need your sleep. So if it's your allergy symptoms that are keeping you up, here's a word to the wise. Try Xyzal. You see, Xyzal works fast to relieve sneezing, runny nose, itchy watery eyes, and itchy nose and throat. And it keeps going strong for 24 hours, so you can get your sleep and wake up refreshed and ready for a productive day ahead. Be wise, all. Take Xyzal at night. Use as directed. Starts working in 45 minutes.
I'm confident he better not have he better not have a worse game than he did the last 2 weeks. I'm confident that it can't get no worse because he's not getting. But who's starting on the right side? In Dallas,
Dante Fowler is the right defensive end.
Fowler, and I know Fowler's bounced around. He was with the Commanders last year, right? Fowler was with the Commanders last year, the Jaguars before. I know he was a high draft pick some years ago. Fowler's he's a decent NFL player, but Braxton, you got to win those matchups. You got to win that one-on-one the majority of the times. I'm sorry, Fowler's solid player, solid defensive end. But Braxton, you got to have a week where you win. You got to have a week where you win.
And on top of that,
because I think Fowler gave Braxton some problems last year in Washington.
Yeah, but we also had a worse offensive coordinator last year at that point too. I'm all the way at a 5 because he's going to have to help. That's already baked in. But I think it's also,
I'm going to be really upset if Braxton Jones, and this is no disrespect to Dante Fowler, none at all, but I'm really going to be upset if I have to dedicate a chip or I have to help Braxton Jones against Fowler. No disrespect to Dante Fowler. My left tackle shouldn't need help against him. I shouldn't have to slide protection for Dante Fowler. You're not making me feel good about this.
Yeah, but we already know Braxton is not the most athletic at his position. We already know Braxton Jones is not at his best as far as health. He has to get help. And so basically this question is, I think he will have his best game in comparison of the last two. This game would be a lot better because I know the chipping's going to be there. I know the help's going to be there. And I don't think we'll have to be there as much as it had the last 2 weeks because of who we're playing against. And because I'm giving it 100% positive. It won't be any blitzes. It won't be any, like, I got to think, who am I taking? Am I taking this outside guy who looks like he's coming up, or am I taking, the guy directly in front of me? I think it's just going to be one-on-one. Braxton can't win one-on-one, even with help or without help. Then yes. But I do believe that he can. This week versus any other week, this week he can do that. Keep it with the defense. Let's switch to the Bears. Bears defense ain't too much better. They gave up 52 points last week. They got their heads kicked in up and down the field. As soon as the Lions got on the field, we talked about that ad nauseum on the recap episode. The Cowboys did win that game last week against the Giants. CeeDee Lamb had his usual. Dak Prescott, for everything that they say about Dak Prescott, he is a top 8 quarterback in this league. He gets his numbers. He's worth the $60 million.
I'm glad you said that because, boy, you hear some of the slandering of Dak Prescott, you would think he was a bottom 10 quarterback in the league.
He had 361 yards last week, 2 tutties. Like I said, CeeDee Lamb, he had 11. He had 9 catches. Jake Ferguson, the tight end, he had 9 catches as well. George Pickens, 5 catches and a tutty. It was a light show. And I got to see most of that second half because the Bears getting drugged, so I had that game up. So, to my point, what can the Bears defense do to make sure they're not also getting beat in the same way? They're not giving up 11. You're not giving up 11 catches to CeeDee Lamb. Tyreek Stevens is not. I'm not always looking at the back of Tyreek Stevens' jersey because he's in pursuit because he got cooked to the line. Nashawn Wright getting, not setting the edge and run fits and all those things like that. The linebackers are not getting manipulated at the line of scrimmage by bunch concepts, and there's bad communication in the secondary. Those are all things the Bears displayed last week. All of these things are not skill related. All of these things is prep related. Just especially the communication part. Do I think they can contain CeeDee Lamb? Obviously not. I'm almost at that point where I think Tyree Stevens is a bust. I'm almost at that point, Q. Almost. It'd be a great week for him to prove me wrong. But I'm hoping that it'll be week 6. If he has to do it at any point, do it week 6. Yes, you got to rewrite that story. But yeah, other than the obvious, playing better, doing what you're supposed to do, what is something else that the Bears can do on defense to make sure that they don't end up the same way the Giants ended up?
You got to be disciplined. CeeDee Lamb is going to get his. CeeDee Lamb is a decorated Pro Bowl receiver, one of the best receivers we have in the game in this modern era. I'm not mad if CeeDee Lamb beats you. You know what I'm saying? Just don't let him gash you. Don't give up 30 years. Don't give up bomb after bomb to him. He's going to work. He's very versatile. He's good in the intermediate. He's good in the short. He can get deep. Just don't let him get the deep stuff that hurts. George Pickens is the one that you have to not let beat you. Because George Pickens, you know what George Pickens wants to do. He wants to beat you over the top. He wants to get you in one-on-one situations, the win those 50-50 balls, or he wants to get vertical. You got to not let Pickens get going. There's not so much you can do with CeeDee Lamb. He's the focal point of their offense. He's almost a walking 6-catch guy. He comes to the stadium. You can almost guarantee he's got 6 catches. 6 catches, 60 yards. He starts stat sheet with that. You can't let Perkins beat you over the top. You can't let him open the things up for the offense and allow them to now nickel and dime you in a running game. I don't think Cowboys running game strikes fear in my heart. But you don't want to let Javonte Williams get rolling. You don't want Miles Sanders to start eating you up on some of the outside zone reads and that type of thing. So I think for the Bears defense, disciplines be dedicating your gap assignment and get some pressure. Dak is too good for you to let him sit back in that pocket. This is a nice time for Dayo Adebango to earn that $55 million. This is a good time for Montez Sweat. You're getting $25 million a year, bro. This is a good time for you to. I think he's 11th or 12th highest paid in the league, somewhere around there. It's a good time to look like it. The Cowboys line isn't what it used to be. Grady Jarrett, I need to see your name called. I need to see you get into the backfield. Pressure the quarterback. Stop some running backs behind the line of scrimmage. Dexter, I need to see you. I need to see the Bears front four. To me, the onus is on the front four this for this game. You know we got injuries in the secondary. I need you all to get pressure. I need you all to control the line of scrimmage. I don't need you all getting bullied around. So for the Bears defense not to be beaten up like the Giants defense was, I need to see them get pressure.
Yeah, that's it right there, Q. That is it right there. The Bears got to get pressure. I think that's the biggest issue with this defense, other than injuries, other than all the other things I spoke about, lack of communication, the secondary getting cooked, Kevin Byard making terrible reads and not tackling anybody.
Bad angles.
I think
bad angles.
Bad angles.
And you know, Jahmyr Gibbs will do that to you. Jahmyr Gibbs, that's an explosive, special running back. And I remember on draft day, I was just confused that the Lions took him. I believe 14, and they knew something I didn't. I mean, I felt they could have got him later in the first round, but sometimes when you got conviction on the guy, I don't mind the reach. In this case, looking back, if I was a Lions fan, I would not mind the reach on Jahmyr Gibbs. So he's going to make a lot of people look silly with the angles because he's so shifty and he's so fast. But Kevin Byard, I need you to have a better game. I agree with you. A better game. I got to call one guy out. I got to call, and this is my boy. I love Jaquan Brisker. But Jaquan, there's a lot of talk every year. We started this podcast 3 seasons ago, right? Now, I remember the first year, Jaquan did a lot of chirping about the Packers. And then after they got their asses handed to them at Soldier Field, game 1, the featured afternoon game on Fox, ruined all of our starts to the 2023 season. Jaquan said something to the effect of maybe we were a little too overconfident. And it's like, dude, you all haven't won enough games to ever be confident under this current regime. There is no current Bear player on this roster that experienced enough success in Chicago to where they should ever think about being overconfident. Jaquan kind of puts Dennis Allen, I don't want to say throw him under the bus, but kind of put a little pressure on him. I don't know if you follow Jaquan's social media, but he's very vocal on social media. He's very transparent. I mean, he will vocalize the things he sees. He was one of the guys who were very vocal in criticizing Eberflus last year. He said Dennis Allen got to, let number 9 do him. Basically get him in the line of scrimmage, get him in the mix of things. Jaquan, you talk a lot every year. I'm gonna need you to, man, get us a pick, get a turnover, force a fumble. The guy who was his contemporary on the other side, Deion Branch, he made his presence felt early in that game. With the Bears driving, ready to even the game up at 14-14, he laid the wood to DeAndre Swift. Laid the wood. Ball popped out of him. Turnover for the Lions. I need Brisker to have those type of impact plays. Somebody come across the middle, lay them out. A back get into the second level. Pop him, make the ball come out. I need you to do something other than talk on social media.
What I want the social media talk to be next year after this game is that the Bears got 5 sacks on Dak.
Sack that Dak. Sack the Dak. Go and get that Dak, Bears. Go after that Dak.
So Dak has been sacked 4 times so far this season. So the likelihood that the Bears get to him 5 times, it's not high. The Eagles can only get to you once. I doubt the Bears can do it. They do it much more than that.
One thing about the Eagles, for that game, they didn't have Jalen Carter. Um, they lost
So it's
Josh Sweat in
stupidity.
free agency. It remains to
Mhm.
be seen if that Eagles pass rush is as potent. Jalen Carter didn't play. He's their best interior rusher, and Josh Sweat is gone. He was their best edge rusher last year.
Mhm.
So I'm not ready to crown that Eagles. Sorry, I'm not ready to. I'm not ready to crown that Eagles pass rush. I'm not ready to crown that Cowboys offensive line yet.
Fair. Because the Eagles only have 3 sacks so far this season. I mean, you saw what they did in the Super Bowl. The rematch, they only got the pat twice. So over under 2.5 sacks for the Bears.
You putting me on the spot with that one. Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
it's week 3. I'm gonna still bear down. I'm gonna say they go over 2.5. You got the Soldier Field faithful behind you. They should make a lot of noise. I think they're gonna be out there in full support of the boys. That should hopefully let's make the Cowboys offensive line miscommunicate a little bit. So you got them on the road. Let's get 2.5. I want to say Montez gets 1. Grady gets his first sack as a Bear, and the next sack comes off a blitz. I'll give him 3 sacks.
Bear down. The Bears, their rush defense is probably the worst part of their defense, other than their lack of pass rush. Jahmyr Gibbs ate them up. Jordan Mason in the second half, he said he grounded them down. This week they got Javonte Williams on his 3rd team, and Miles Sanders. I don't fear those running backs. Also, we talked about IR. The Cowboys put their center on the IR as well, so their rushing game is going to be a little bit frayed, and their quarterback to center relationship is not as strong because the center's gone. It's a backup coming in, Brock Hoffman. The running game is not going to be as strong. I do think the Bears defense has a chance to be the best defense in this game. That's not saying much, but if they can get some pressure on Dak, and I would prefer that if Dennis Allen continues to play a lot of man coverage, I don't think that he should, even though because we're down so many starters. I think they should start employing some type of zone scheme. But if he's going to do man again, please put Tyreek on George Pickens. The one, because you say George Pickens wants to put 150. His main thing, he wants to beat you over the top and get 50-50 balls. I think that's his second thing. I think his main thing, he wants to fight. And that's what Tyreek wants to do too. Put those two together.
How much did you pay on Netflix to see a Tyreek versus George Pickens fight?
Don't put that on Netflix. Put that belongs on Tubi. That's a Tubi fight.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Healthcare professionals can lead their careers with LinkedIn. Discover jobs by specialty, preferred shifts, and even desired salary. From mental health therapists to radiology technicians, it's now faster and easier for healthcare professionals to find the right fit. Learn more at linkedin.com/healthcare. Side effects may include faster job placement, improved work-life balance, and increased career satisfaction.
The Hilton sale is on. For 10 days only, you can save up to 20% on stays this fall and beyond. Don't wait. The sale ends September 29th. Book your stay and save at Hilton.com. Terms apply. Hilton, for the stay.
I'm not unpausing my Netflix subscription for that. I get the Tubi stream for that one to watch that fight, but I would watch it though. Yeah, I mean, so I'm putting at a scale of 1 to 5. I'm going slightly over 3. I don't want. No, I'm gonna stand 10 toes down. I got a 4. 4 that the Bears defense will be the best defense in this game. What about you?
I'm gonna go with the home team behind that Soldier Field crowd, and I think, not to say the pressure isn't on the Cowboys, but the pressure is on their asses a little bit. Ben Johnson, I mean, that press conference was interesting because, a lot of Chicago media said, is he calling out Dennis Allen in that press conference? So I think Dennis Allen is going to come up with a hell of a scheme. I think there's going to be a lot of owners on them players, and they got to respond. They got to respond because I don't think Ben Johnson is a guy that is going to deal with mediocrity or poor play. I think Dennis Allen better get those boys in line. 'Cause I don't think Ben Johnson is going to be just too lenient with coordinators and their units not producing. Read between the lines.
Let's go offense. Ben Johnson's department. The passing offense hasn't been superb, but it hasn't been the weakest part of the team so far. Caleb has shown some progression. Rome Odunze had a coming out party last week. Cole Kmet's catching everything that's thrown his way while playing 90% of the snaps. So I don't want to compare Caleb to Dak. Caleb's not where Dak is, right? At some point in the future, he could be. I do believe he could, but as of right now, I don't even want to even entertain the idea that the Bears' passing offense is anywhere close to where the Dallas Cowboys' offense is. We could agree to that, right?
I agree with that.
I think yes, but for the Bears to win this game, it's going to be a shootout because both defenses are struggling, and you're going to have to score more points than the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, that's the name of the game. Obviously, to win the game, you got to score more points. But I do think, one, I don't think the offense is broken. I don't think there's an issue schematically. I don't think there's an issue with the fits. I just think, for one, we're fighting not only the opponent, we're fighting the markers as well. We're fighting the markers, and we keep putting ourselves back. We still need first and 15s, first and 20s, false starts, holding, illegal motions, things of that nature. If the Bears can reduce that, and they did reduce it from game 1 to game 2. It was 4 less flags. They do another 4 less. This is a whole different squad, a whole different team. Q.
Yeah, I agree with that. Even the best of the best in the NFL, you're going to get penalties. I'm not suggesting that you just eliminate all penalties. I just don't like the ones where you beat yourself and there's no reason for it. The false starts, no reason for those. If, for example, I saw one, I believe it was week 1. I believe they flagged Tyreek for pass interference, and he actually had the guy covered well. I want to say it was Naylor. Naylor really just failed. Them penalties you can't do nothing about, ref error. Also, a couple holding penalties, as long as it's not egregious, I can live with those. I can live with the penalties that are aggressive. I think we got a roughing the passer in week 1, too. You know, you out there, guys trying to get after it. You accidentally hit the quarterback above his neck. Those are bang-bang plays. I don't want to say I don't have no problem with it, but I get those. But the pre-snaps, those silliness, or just bad pass interferences when there was no need to, those are ones that I need to see eliminated. The good teams don't do those.
It remains to be seen if the Bears are a good team. And says that they're not right now, but it's still early. You can flip the script. That book is not written on the 2025 team as of yet.
Not at all.
So if you had to guess, who has the best opportunity to be the offensive MVP of this game for the Bears?
For some reason, I think this is a Rome Odunze game.
Another one.
I think this is a Rome Odunze game. I think this really caters to him and his chemistry with Caleb. I think another guy is Olamide Zaccheaus. We know Eberflus does not favor blitzing. He doesn't favor putting his corners on the island too much. That was one of the things. You remember Jalen Johnson, asked, hey, let me shadow the top receiver. Eberflus likes to play zone. So I think you're going to see a lot of windows opening up. I think you might see, just like when Rome beat Detroit for one, I believe that was the first touchdown. He ran a crosser, and he got lost in his zone. I think this favors Odunze. He's got good chemistry with Caleb. I think he'll know where to sit in these zones. I think he'll know how to flash and get himself open, and I think Caleb will find him. So I think this is a game that kind of favors Rome again.
We talked about this in the offseason. We just felt like Rome and Caleb had a connection. We feel like there's going to be a change of the guard between who the wide receiver 1 is, and it's clearly Rome right now. They have a connection that Caleb and DJ don't have and probably never will have, especially at this point. So if since you said Rome, I'm gonna say somebody else. The guy who has the next best chance to be the best offensive player for the Bears this game, DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift. So we talked about the defensive line for the Dallas Cowboys, especially from a pass rush perspective. But I'm going to talk to you about them from a run stopping perspective. So in the first two games of the Dallas Cowboys season, they played obviously the Eagles. Saquon Barkley, he's a dog, right? They gave up 4.2 yards per carry, 158 yards in total to the Philadelphia Eagles. Shipley.
A lot of that was Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, a lot of it was Shipley too. Shipley had 3 carries for 26. And the last week, the Giants don't offer a lot as far as rushing offense, but for a team, they ended that game with 4 yards per carry. 21 carries, 84 yards in total. Cam Scatterboo, the rookie, 4.1 yards per carry, 11 for 45. Even Russell don't even run the ball no more. He had 3 carries for 23, a 7.7 average. Tyrone Tracy, your boy, can't look and do that. But I don't see. The thing is, he shouldn't have to. He shouldn't have to because they should not. The defensive line should not be in the backfield at all this game. But to this point, they haven't stopped the run. They haven't stopped the rushing attack yet. So far, they've given up in 2 games, they've given up almost 75 yards in 2 games. The Bears' offensive line, as bad as they've looked in pass pro, especially on the left side, shout out to Braxton Jones, and as bad as they've looked and not getting flags, they can move guys. Joe Tooney is certified, Jonah Jackson certified, Drew Dahlman is certified, Braxton, Darnell Wright he can run block a little bit. I mean, the best part of his game is run blocking. Darnell Wright. I felt like DeAndre Swift was getting in the groove last week, and I do think a lot of that has to do with play call. Ben Johnson wants to run the ball. He wants to set up the play action. There is a zone blocking aspect to this offense, and I do think this team, the Dallas Cowboys, is ripe to be gashed in that way early and often. Zone block out the ass where DeAndre Swift just puts it on, finds the crease and go.
And I wanna speak on more what you were saying with DeAndre Swift getting into his groove last week. He absolutely was. He absolutely was effective on the ground against the Detroit Lions. The problem is when you fall behind by 2 scores and then 3 scores, you're in negative game script now. Now you're in catch-up mode. You can't really establish the run. So I thought DeAndre Swift what was his numbers on that game last week? He ran for about 60 yards, 14 carries.
12 carries, 63 yards, 5.3 yards per carry, and a touchdown. But the turning point in that game was that 3 consecutive series in which the Bears turned the ball over. We had a turnover on downs, had the DeAndre Swift fumble, and then there was the interception. So that flipped the game.
Yeah,
exactly. That's not going to happen this week. Not against this team. It won't happen. I'm stamping it right there. Scale of 1 to 5. My confidence in Rome and DeAndre Swift having big games is at a 5. Q, where are you at?
Man, I'm pretty confident. I'm going to say a 4.5. And the only thing that can stop them from having a big game, the combo of them, is the Bears defense get off to a slow start. Now, one of the things that's advantageous to DeAndre Swift having a big game is you keep the defense off the field. When you get the run game rolling, your defense is on the field a lot. Drives are burning slower. So I think that's actually kind of pivotal. I think if DeAndre Swift, you predict him to be the MVP of this game. If DeAndre Swift is the MVP of this game, I think the Bears win this game. Because you're running the ball, you're controlling the time of possession, you're keeping your own defense off the field, and you wearing out their defense. And with the way Ben Johnson loves to play action, you're probably going to hit them over the top if DeAndre is rolling, because those linebackers are now cheating up. Those safeties got their eyes in the backfield. And now with Luther Burden and DJ Morgan get behind him. So I absolutely love the idea of DeAndre Swift being MVP because I'm pretty sure if you tell me, if we go into the future 24 hours and you tell me DeAndre Swift has 90-plus rushing yards on the ground, I'm going to say the Bears win the game.
In closing, the Bears returned all of their defensive players from last year. I mean, they added Grady, but for everybody that was that started with defense last year, still on this roster. They all know Flus inside and out. They dealt with him for two seasons. Caleb and Ryan Flus, they talked every day.
I like how you said dealt with instead of played for.
For better or worse, for all the shit that we give Eberflus, as a head coach, he was a terrific defensive coordinator in Indianapolis and for the Chicago Bears. The defense intimately knows Flus's defense. And you know who else knows it? The offense. Rome, Caleb, they went against that defense every day. They know it as well. There is absolutely, positively, 1,000%, there is no reason that this Bears team can't have their best offensive production tomorrow.
Hits.
None.
Destroy that hits principle. What does HIT stand for? Hustle, intensity.
Hold on. I got it. Does it stand for does it stand for Torrance or Terrytown? What does it stand for any of them?
It ain't got nothing to do with Chicago. It's not Henry, it's not Ingleside, it's not Torrance, and it's not Stony Island. That's not what the HITS principle stands for. It's hustle.
It would have been better if it did.
You know what? It probably would have been a lot more aggressive. Hustle, intensity, takeaways, and smart, or playing smart. That's what the HITS principle was.
Do you think he brought that to Dallas?
Do I think anybody cared in Dallas? Because they sure didn't care about it in Chicago. I'm sure Eberflus is still Eberflus. I'm sure there's a couple little adjustments from his time in Chicago. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to see he probably is in that locker room telling them about hustle intensity, takeaways, and playing smart. And I'm sure it'll resonate until stuff hits the fan and his players will tune them out over there like they did over here. I don't even think Dallas listens to Jerry Jones. I don't even know if the Cowboys listen to Jerry Jones. So do we really think they're going to listen to Eberflus?
Oh, they definitely listen to Jerry. He the boss. And you saw Django. You listen when that when Boss Man pull up. Even what he do.
You know what? Didn't he tell Cowboys, I better not see any of you Negroes, uppity Negroes, taking a knee for the Pledge of Allegiance? And Dak started singing a spiritual and talked about how patriotic he was and was front and center with that hand over that chest, looking at that flag with a little tear on his eyes.
All those things happened.
They need to bring Terrell Owens back to Dallas.
That time. Score prediction. And score prediction. Where do you see?
I don't want to do score prediction. I'm not going to have TikTok. I'm not going to have TikTok getting on me. Those TikTok people are ruthless. I thought
they are.
Was brutal.
Good thing about TikTok, none of it sits in the memory too long. I just keep pumping out the content. So you forget all about it. Just throw something else new out there. You forget about the last thing. I'll start. Score prediction. I'm taking the over. The over in this game is going to hit. This over is so close to a lock that I got it in 3 different slips. 50.5. That's 26-25. These two teams definitely, both these teams is getting over 25. This is a lock. I'm still bearing down. I gave you all the reasons why. The Bears are too intimately familiar with their defense. Their defense shitty. I mean, I think the Bears' issues are correctable, at least on offense. I got the Bears. They haven't shown me that they have the ability to score 30 yet, so I'm gonna keep it at 28. Cowboys 25.
Bears 31, Cowboys 24. Cowboys have the ball with under 2 minutes left with a chance to tie the game. Bears hold on the 4th down, go home. Caleb takes a knee. We bear down.
That's something I do need to see. It's 2 things I don't need to see in this game. I don't need to see their kicker upstaging our kicker. I mean, they got a serious boot over there.
Don't get down inside of the 50 and give that guy a chance to win. I'm not sure what is the limit of his range. I mean,
he got at least 75 with him. He got a driver.
That's what I said. If you're only up 2 or up 3 and they get inside the 50, are we doubting that guy can kick 65-yard field goal even at Soldier Field? I mean, this is September, so that wind ain't blowing hard yet. I'm sure that guy, the what I seen last week, that leg can cut through even lakefront wind at least up to 60 yards.
Mm-hmm. I don't need to see that. And the second thing I don't need to see the Chicago Bears, McCaskey. I don't need to see no tributes. You know what I'm talking about. Don't you do it.
Better
in
not
great
do
words,
it.
Don't you do it.
You better not do it. Don't you dare. You know what? I'm not too far from Soldier Field. I will pull up if I see y'all try. Don't even try.
In the words of our co-host, don't piss me off. Bear down.
Bear down.
You're full of shit.
Thanks for listening to this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And to all the guys from Chicago, we say 3 things. Bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.